Hello, and welcome back to the Coop to Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and we're here again to review the match Aston Villa versus Everton. We've got Tommy Lazaridis, Troy Eccles, Noah Fisher. We're all here, and this is going to be a good one because it was a fantastic game, and it's coming up after this. All right, so the big game was on Saturday night, UK time, under the floodlights of Villa Park, and it was the emergence of a new Jamaican hero. Tommy, what did you think of Leon Bailey? His 21 minutes, maybe the best sub on, sub off of all time. All right.
Yeah, probably the most impactful sub we've ever made. What a player! Yeah, if you can do that in 21 minutes, so what's that? 1 goal, 1 assist. So we're expecting at least 4 goals and 4 assists in a 90-minute game. So, and I probably wouldn't not put it past him. So no, incredible performance. Just really lifted the team. It's just funny that he went off with the quad injury and. Post-match interview, really humble guy. I think I didn't realize he was so humble. He had a kid. I think all players who do have that kid, I think they just kind of mature a lot younger, and he seems like he's really integrated with the team. Love the unity with the boys when, I think he got the assist. They just all ran and kind of huddled up, and it was great to see. But what a player! I think we've definitely got a replacement for Jack, someone who's on level pegging. A lot of big four clubs, big four plastic fan clubs. A lot of them, I saw a lot of them saying, "Oh, how did Villa get Bailey? Like he's definitely deserves to go to a big four club." And I think now we're starting to see why.
Definitely. Well, he's like you said, he seems to be well liked. He's fitted in well, and like the way he took his goal, it was like a guy that was playing his 100th game, or it was fantastic, and in front of the Holte end, and just fans going absolutely ballistic. It was great to see, but it wasn't. It was a pretty tight game for most of the game. Well, for the first hour or so. What did you think, Troy? We started with the 5 at the back again. Like the only change was Emmy coming back in, which was expected. But do you think like that's the system now? Do you think like Smith's made up his mind there?
Well, we were talking after last week's podcast is that maybe it's a case where Smith's playing the top half teams, he will use the system, and when we play the weaker teams, maybe we'll go back to 4-3-3. So I think this was the first formation, the first lineup he's put that wasn't unpredictable, and it worked out well. I thought the introduction when McGinn went off of Nakamba was a little bit negative. I was a little bit disappointed. I thought we had our foot on Everton's throat, and I thought it was a bit of a backward step. But maybe he had the view of just settling the team down during that substitution for a few minutes, and then go for the throat again. So happy with the substitutions as well.
Yeah, I think Nakamba played pretty well actually when he came on. I was, I like you. I was a bit like, this might mean we go into our shell a bit. He doesn't have the same sort of drive like McGinn, but he passed the ball really well. I don't think he actually gave the ball away once when he came on. So, if he could keep that going, because that's the one thing you do sometimes worry about with him. So when we were about an hour into the game, Bailey comes on. The sort of intensity lifts a bit, and it was Matty Cash that broke the deadlock with what was an amazing goal. And do you think he can continue to be a attacking threat for us going forward?
I mean, if he's going to get the Polish side, he's going to have to, do that for Lewandowski a fair bit. So, I mean, I think it's one of his better games for the season for sure. His diagonal crosses were second to none all day to Target. I think Target was a little bit poor. Unfortunately, I think he's just lacking that bit of form. But Matty Cash, what a goal! Honestly, I didn't think he was going to score it, to be honest. No. But back him in now.
Yeah, left foot, top corner, and it was a great little ball from Dougie as well, like to play him in, and like the whole move, like straight went all the way from Emmy, and it was just what we needed. And then that next 9 minutes was absolutely crazy, Tommy. Like it was like a totally different team after we took the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Everton actually did it in 7 minutes, 3 goals in such a short period of time. So I guess for them to be on the receiving end of that wasn't as fun.
No.
Look, I'd say no Richarlison, no Calvert-Lewin, and no Pickford. Team was depleted, but I still feel that could have gone either way had they have converted their early chances. But yeah, I guess that's one thing we probably didn't do enough of last season and probably even earlier this season. Just take our chances, let alone convert them. So pretty high, conversion rate. And this is probably segueing into probably what I know is coming up next about Ings and Watkins. So to see both start up front
Yeah.
was obviously great. Yeah. I think did it work? I think one or the other fires, but I did see that, well, not see, well, Ings's pressure I think was really good. And I think there was one point where Ings was closing down the left centre back, and then I think Watkins started, chasing down the other one. And I think we boxed them in and won a corner out of it. I think it was the corner for the last goal.
Yep.
Or not last goal. I think it was one of them. But yeah, no, I think teams playing really well, capitalizing, and we can just that's all you need. Just dominate in like a short stint, and then maybe just lock up shop, do what we have to. Maybe that's what we bring on Nakamba for that sense of negativity. But yeah.
No, well, I think like the first half they were sort of getting in each other's way a little bit, like Ings and Watkins. But I think Ings, as the game went on, had a good game. I think Ollie was a bit quiet overall, but I mean that pass he did for Bailey Ings with the outside of his foot was quality. Yeah, and I saw someone compare him to Paul Merson in his sort of intelligence, and that was the sort of thing that just out of nothing, 50-yard pass, and we're in for 3-0. So, but Troy, we looked a lot more solid at the back this week as well, which is good. Do you think like that was down to us or down to Everton maybe missing Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin and that sort of thing? Do you think they really tested us, or?
They didn't. They didn't at all. And Mings had one stage. I thought he made a bit of a mess, but we recovered from that. So I thought, given these screw ups out of the way, we're going to win this game. What's interesting for me is the question: did we do to Everton what Chelsea did to us? We didn't deserve to lose 3-0 against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Did Everton deserve to lose 3-0 against us? Honestly, I do think the answer is yes. We gave them a bit of a spanking. They didn't offer anything. They can't say like we could say against Chelsea that had we put our 5 or 6 chances away, we could have been 4-0 up at half. They can't say that.
No.
So I definitely think they miss their quality players. Had they had those, well, it's a different kettle of fish. But they didn't have them, and I do think we deserve to thoroughly win that game.
Yeah, well, I think we had the better chances until the first goal. I mean, they had a couple of half chances, but that was really it. And Gray had a shot and Rondon had a shot. But yeah, I mean, looking forward, one thing, Noah, that stood out was for me a bit of an early substitution with Bailey, and maybe this is a sign of Smith being a bit more proactive with his subs. And what did you think of that?
Tactical masterclass, mate. Clearly, look, I think he said he felt like a like for like sub, like where Tiger was playing up the field. So honestly, the fullbacks were really high at the pitch this game, which we didn't quite see against Chelsea. I'm not sure if because we wanted to attack Everton a little bit more compared to Chelsea last week, but honestly, if we're going to go with that team against United and stuff, and we have Bailey to come on and do what he did, I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, he gives just that fear factor that Target doesn't give. When Bailey's got the ball out wide, it's look out. And I think Traore as well. Came on for a little bit and looked good. And I think Smith's sort of coaching over the last few weeks with the change of system and everything, and the way he's using Ramsey it's really positive. Looking forward. Did you want to say something, Troy?
I was actually a bit disappointed with Traore. I thought, Bailey's on the pitch for 3 or 4 minutes and he makes a difference. So what's Traore's problem?
Well, maybe we're getting a little bit greedy, but yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Tommy, go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe that just speaks volumes now. I mean, you look at Traore, who got like 5 goals, 5 assists last season with El Ghazi as well. These guys were fringe players, and then they're being pushed back to second or third sub. You know, you've even got players like Ramsey, who's a teen that's come, emerged through the youth system, and now he's either like first sub or at least, warranting a starting 11 position. And then now it's like you can't not fit Ings into the starting 11. Bailey's our, barometer now. He fires, the whole team does. So, and I think this formation was always going to take time to work. I think probably the lack of preseason games, is starting to be evident, or was starting to be evident. But now I think we're starting to find our groove. To put 3 past Everton, I feel that they did have a fair share of chances. I think Damari Gray, ex-Blue Nose, signed him for like £1.5 million. He's been a star for them so far this season. So they've definitely got a pretty deep squad as well, despite not having Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. I mean, they signed Rondon, who, he's also a big name player. So it's not like they had no one.
No, definitely.
We probably could have gone, I think could have maybe done 4-5-0. I thought it could have been like 4-5-2. Begovic pulled out the great save to deny Mings off the corner that time.
Great save.
Yeah, and that's where McGinn hurt himself as well in that looked nasty.
Agreed.
I said at the time on the chat, I think he's broken his face here. And he played an extra half an hour, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that he's fractured his cheekbone or something, because it looked nasty. When he was running around, you could see him like holding it, and it looked red and angry, and I was like, I think he's broken his face. But
it's probably not going to be noticeable because he's naturally like dog shit ugly.
Yeah. But I mean, if he has played for an extra half an hour with a broken cheekbone, then that's typical little meatball Scottish terrier. It's good stuff. But
I think he's found his mojo back as well. I saw in the 100%. Votes. I think it was either Bailey Louise McGinn or Bailey McGinn Louise, and those 3. And I think Mings somehow. Cash and Mings.
I've just had a text message from our favourite Scotsman saying, if you think I'm coming on next week's podcast after that, you can go fuck yourself.
All right.
Thanks, Tommy.
What are your guys' thoughts on the 4 sub rule? Like, I think Everton got 4 subs because McGinn got concussion subbed. I didn't know that at the time that they got an extra sub.
That's like an emergency sub.
Yeah, but Everton got a 4th sub because we used a 4th sub. If that makes sense.
I think it's a fantastic rule. A few years ago, I'm sure Martin O'Neill was in charge. One of our players went off and literally puked on the sidelines. And the Villa physio said, he's got a concussion, he's got to come off. And O'Neill said, oh, fuck him, put him back on the pitch. I don't care if he's got a concussion. You can't do that. Another knock to the head, it could be severe. I mean, it could be life endangering. So you can't do it. I think it's a fantastic rule.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to give the other team an extra sub. You want it to be even, because then because like if you have an extra sub and he comes on and scores and they can't bring a sub on or something, that would be a little bit controversial. So I think it's pretty good. One thing I did notice.
Sorry, Scotty. That time he cleared the ball out for a corner when he didn't really have to, and everyone went off at him. He was sort of pointing at his head, and I didn't know whether he's saying I couldn't hear the call or whether he's saying my brains are falling out. I have no idea what's going on. It was quite funny. The other amusing moment for me was with the young Ramsey. The camera, 40,000 people, and all the cameras in the ground are looking at him after Bailey kicked the ball out. And he's going, why is everybody looking at me? Yeah. Why is everybody looking at me like I'm a twat? I did nothing.
And the commentator said, well, do Everton do the ethical thing and give the ball back because they didn't really need to kick it out, Villa? But Bailey's like, no, it was for my quad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on there. That was weird. But I mean, I guess they did give the ball back, so fair play. One interesting thing, one promising thing was the set pieces, and we had a few like nice little routines there. Tommy, do you think Austin McPhee, the set piece coach, is making an impact?
Yeah, I think also, that's where Ings' brilliance comes into play as well, though I think where Conser headed it, he was at the far side there. Mings laid it off for, Ings, who done the little outside of the foot shot. Mm-hmm. I don't think any player that can probably pull that off except Ings. So, yeah, I think we're definitely starting to see McPhee's influence. I think the fact that, the own goal from Luca Dean, but that ball was on the money from Bailey as well. But if you actually look at the setup of the players, they're a lot deeper. It's not raiding around the 6 yard to the edge of the box. They're actually right up in there. And I think that probably put a lot of pressure on Everton's defense. So they probably had to drop back a little bit, hence why ball comes off Digne's head. And anyone's just going to tap it in anyway. So, yeah, I thought that the balls in were pretty good.
I think they were great all day. And Bailey has obviously been, singled out to be the guy, when he's on the pitch to deliver, because McGinn was taking them against Chelsea and he didn't really have the best day with some of his deliveries. And, we've tried a few other guys too, but Bailey looks like he's just got that whip, that real whip and bend. And, the own goal sums it up perfectly.
He can hit the ball for someone so small as well. That's the funny thing. The amount of power he generates on that shot and then ball in.
I know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he said that. He said that's where he did his quad when he scored that goal. He hit the ball too hard, so maybe he's got to just take a little bit off. But he nearly broke the net. With that one.
Going back to set pieces, I do think mentally it gives us an inch over other teams whose coach will set them out saying you need to defend very carefully. They have a set piece coach. I mean, the blonde lady with the beard might not actually do anything, but mentally, I think it's a fantastic advantage.
I think every club in the Premier League will get a set piece coach in the next,
absolutely,
I think 3 years, because we've seen it already. We used to be pretty bad at set pieces. We used to be pretty poor, and now we're looking deadly from almost every one.
Yeah, yep.
And he looks deadly. He looks deadly himself. He looks like he should be in a Wes Craven film or something. He
looks like what's it? Burka Bjornsson's dad.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
BB Senior.
Oh well. There was one moment that I think we were all like a little bit worried, Troy, and that was Konsa when he was the last man. Do you think he was lucky not to get sent off?
Oh, he was extremely lucky. You know what? It swings and roundabouts. We're going to get decisions like those that go against us this season. We're going to be up in arms about it, and I think we need to remember that he was the last man. That could have gone either way. So
it was definitely a free kick anyway. I had to be one. I was worried about that.
I think maybe Twanzebe was just covering. It might have not been a red if it, but there's no VAR because it was just a foul outside the box.
Yeah.
So that's one of those sort of situations where it's a bit of a loophole with the VAR because, I mean, if it was in the box, they would have had a look at it and it would have been a penalty and a red card probably. So yeah, it's I think we got away with that one, but I don't think it affected the match. I think Konsa and the rest of the back five played well, back three, whatever you want to call it. That 9-minute period when the whole team was rocking and the sort of the lights had come in and made the full spectacle. I don't think I've seen anything like that for ages because of COVID and everything. It just reminds you like what a special ground Villa Park really is.
I think like one of the quotes that sent out for me, I think it was just before we scored the second goal, the commentator goes, I had to check if I turned down the crowd sound.
Yeah.
But he said it was on zero.
Yeah.
Like
on zero. Yeah.
It was that loud. It was incredible. And look, I think the atmosphere got a little bit flat maybe before we scored. But after we scored, like you just get right behind the team, and I think it's hard not to get momentum off that. Honestly, electric. We could have scored 3 or 4.
One of the quotes I've seen, I was going to say, I've seen one of the quotes floating around social media is that Man City have bid £160 million for Villa fans.
Well, that's one thing they can't. That's one thing they can't take. They can take.
It just goes to show you can have all the money in the world, but you haven't got that genuine fan base.
When you see Guardiola come out and ask the fans to get down to the next game, I mean, you're the Premier League champions. It's a sad place. Like when you can't even.
How sad.
I mean, if we played Leipzig in the Champions League, can you imagine what Villa Park would be like?
Huge. I was shattered we never got the pre-season friendly against Sevilla. I reckon that would have had
that would have been electric.
Good turnout.
Was it Ajax in the Europa League, I think, where like the atmosphere was just incredible that night? Imagine us in the Champions League. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
we'd sell
huge.
out. Yeah, it'd be huge.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you boys, but I remember Inter Milan in the '90s. Those UEFA Cup ties. They were insane, like absolutely insane. And let's hope that one day we can be back there. But you know, we're going in the right direction. I heard Dean Smith say that he had a plan, a 4-year plan to get us promoted first year, keep us up second year, improve the first 11 the third year, and improve the squad this year, the fourth year. And I think that he's done exactly that. And if that's true, then I'm
He's a year ahead, isn't he?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
a
don't
year
think they
or
were
two ahead,
expecting to
isn't
get promoted. They weren't expected to get promoted the first season.
right. Okay.
it? So we're probably a year ahead, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kept his word, and he did say he wanted to sign quality. 3 to 5 big name players. We're probably all expecting another big name striker or winger to come in, but I think we did pretty well with what we had, especially with utilising our current squad.
Well, when Buendia, who was a lot of people's big signing of can't even
break in.
start, that just shows that we've got a lot of competition. Ramsey and these guys, are keeping these big signings out of the team. It's great. Long may it continue. So Noah, we got Chelsea on Wednesday night in the League Cup. What do you want to see there?
Ideally, I want to see obviously I want us to win the Carabao Cup, but I honestly think Chelsea are going to probably beat us either way. I'd like to see the kids get a good run, good opportunity for them to play at Stamford Bridge, but also obviously Jed Steele get another crack at it. I think Courtney Horse get a crack at it. I don't really know what's to do with the back line. I mean, obviously, I don't know who goes next to him because we actually don't have another centre back.
No.
So maybe Axel plays because he can't play against United.
I was going to say Axel. I was going to say they were looking at playing.
Probably Emi Buendia hopefully gets a run because he's probably the only player really that's lacking game time. He went away with Argentina and didn't play.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw Sanson, Buendia, Traore, El Ghazi will definitely get a run.
Yeah. And probably Cameron Archer up front.
Cameron Archer, then maybe with Ings or Watkins. Maybe Watkins, I feel like Ollie, he's still coming back.
He needs a goal. Yeah, he needs a goal.
Yeah, he needs a goal. He needs to get firing. So a lot of people are losing those bets. Who's going to, Watkins and Ings, what are we going to be getting from him? And I said, well, neither scored yesterday, and we scored 3, funny enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
How's
yeah.
that?
Maybe, maybe their goals will come against Chelsea. Who knows? But, and then we got United, of course, Tommy, on Sunday, early kickoff for us down here in Australia. So that's good. 12:30 kickoff.
As long as we're not missing equalising penalties at the 95th, I'm happy.
Oh, that was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But if you change the situation around and we brought El Ghazi off the bench to bury a penalty, I'd back him.
Yeah.
El Ghazi hasn't missed a penalty though. That's the difference. He's got a perfect rate, which is so funny. I would totally be into that.
Yeah.
But this is what people said in the Euros, right? A bit off topic, but they said it's very hard to bring a player on to take a penalty. They're not in the game, they're not warmed up or anything. That was Noble's first kick of the ball all day.
I'd still say someone like this. I don't know about Noble, but El Ghazi he practices and practices them in training. So class is there, irrespective if it's your first touch or your last.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So,
I guess
that's true.
It's right. One of those things. I mean, I guess it's about the pressure, right? Can they handle the pressure? Because there is extra pressure if you've come off the bench to take one. Everyone's saying, "Oh, you're a specialist," and as soon as Noble stepped up, I thought to myself, De Gea might save this. That was the first thought as soon as they tried to do it. But yeah, we've got penalties locked up with El Ghazi and Ings and whoever else will take one. Maybe Bailey.
I was going to say Ings took a pretty good one as well. I'd probably back Ings over El Ghazi, to be honest. He just puts him in top corner.
Well, he is the most natural finisher in the team for sure.
This is true.
100%.
I think his work rate's starting to impress me a lot. He has zero pace, but just the shift he puts in, and it's probably harder for him because if you're naturally slower, you've got to cover a lot more ground as well to make up.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, he's got a pretty good work rate for his age. I mean, he's not young, and yeah, it'd be nice to see someone like Archer at least get a cameo off the bench. You're spewing the time when he was meant to, and then it was an injury slump, which forced him back to the bench. I was so pissed.
Well, he must be one of the top scorers in the competition. He got three against Barrow, so yeah, that's it. Throw him back in. Like him and Watkins, that could be a pretty good little combo. Plenty of
Yeah, but
pace.
over Ings, who's actually been scoring instead of Watkins. Like, I'm not going to lie, but like Ollie needs a good kick up the backside because he's not on the score sheet yet. Ings has got, 3 or 4?
Yeah, but in the cup, I think you need to get form into these players. You need to get form into
100%.
Watkins.
Yeah,
and even it's against Chelsea, so...
Yeah, we got to...
And you've got Buendia. Well, you got Buendia feeding him balls as well. Like that,
yeah.
I'd be licking my lips if I know I've got him behind me.
Yeah.
Feeding me balls, that is.
Well, do you think they'll stick with the five at the back against Chelsea? I mean, it worked.
I don't think in the cup they will.
No,
I think it'll be a fallback. I don't think we have the players literally in our books to play the back five. Especially when I don't think Mings will be involved. I don't think Cons will be involved. So I just think it's one of those.
It'll be like Ashley Young at left back, maybe.
I reckon Matty Cash could play in the back three, like on the right hand side.
Why risk him though? Like this makes me laugh. Like why we get rid of Gilbert?
Yeah, exactly. Who have we got now? Like I don't think we don't have another right back, do we? Because Axel can play right back. He has to play in this game.
Yeah, but he's a natural centre back. Like he's not going to bomb forward. He hasn't got that that attacking versatility.
Ashley Young could play there.
He could, but so you keep Target at left back, you reckon?
Yeah, maybe.
But this gives us a big headache for the United game, though, with no Axel. Does Courtney Horse come in? Like, it's a big headache we're going to get for this United game on the weekend.
I think
change the formation completely against United. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it depends who's fit, really. But hopefully Bailey's not too bad. Because if he's fit, surely he's got to be pushing for a start against United. 100%.
Well, yeah. I did see the commentator mention that he's a natural sprinter. He's lightning quick, so they're more prone to those like hamstring quad injuries, which is my only concern. I did hear in the Bundesliga he missed a good period of time out with Leverkusen due to injury, so hopefully it does history doesn't repeat itself here. I mean, if he's an impact sub, heck, I'll take that. If you can do that in 21 minutes, who's complaining?
Yeah, I'll take that every week.
I mean, even Messi's getting sub today. So these days, let's be honest.
It's true.
That's sad.
It's true. It's tough days.
Why would you? But didn't he bring on Icardi for him, who scored the winner? So
he did. Yeah, he gave Pochettino a bit of a serve as well.
I saw that.
Yeah,
He's like, well, take me off.
Who was the Villa player that kicked the bottles when he came off the last season? One of the I swear a Villa player kicked the bottles and you had to put like an apology.
That was Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley,
yeah. Yeah,
and he walked the long way around the stadium. He actually went the opposite way.
Yeah, and he threw like all his socks and stuff off.
he started so well, but just I don't know, just didn't have that ambition anymore. He just lost it.
Yeah,
it's just so sexy. He was lighting it up at Everton years ago.
I think everywhere he's like that. He's kind of has 2 or 3 absolutely outstanding games and then goes missing for like 3 months. So
yeah.
I'm pretty.
I thought he was better than what he was.
Yeah, and I think because him and Jack were friends, that's probably one of the only reason that happened.
I reckon Jack made him look better than what he was.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying I'm nothing against Jack Scott, but I do think there was a lot going on behind the scenes by the looks of it.
Yeah, I agree.
With what?
I think
With
I think Growley's pulling a lot of strings.
He wanted to go. He was manufacturing a move.
I just think he wanted. I think he wanted his way, and I reckon with new management, they probably were going to say, "Well, look, no one's bigger than the club." And I think based on hearing what we've heard post Villa, it was more he was always trying to manufacture a move, but if a big 4 club came in, let him go. So I think he probably knew that a season or 2 ago, and just the bid wasn't there. But then again, I think he's done right by the club because he did sign the new contract. And the release clause was a lot higher, so you can't hate him for wanting to go. And he's actually said, "Well, look, if I'm going to leave, at least it's putting the club in a better position too." And we signed Bailey, Ings, who's the other one?
Wendell.
not a bad three to replace.
Yeah.
And I think now we're starting to play more structured team football.
And we've got
I wish Jack all the best.
we've got the better Jack now. We got Leon Bailey. You know, he's quicker.
Yeah.
He's you know,
the better Jack Leon Bailey. It's a different name.
I reckon he'll score more as well. Like because I think Jack's goal scoring, you know, wasn't really elite. His chance creation was elite, but even at Man City, you can see that I don't think he's playing as well as he did with.
Absolutely not. You've got other players that, you know. If I'm a Man City like CDM, I'm giving the ball to De Bruyne, not Jack. That's how it is. Or you know, and that's where the goals are going to come from. So he's probably in a team of equals now. Players, you know, he's probably not the least talented, but there's probably better players than him in that team.
Definitely,
they've been more established in the system. So that's where the ball's going to go, and he's probably isolated out in the left. Whereas with Villa, it's like you have free reign any day of the week.
There was a video with Thierry Henry. You can see it on YouTube where he's explaining how strict Pep is when he was with Barcelona, and he says, you know, Thierry, you don't come over the other side of the pitch. There's a line down the middle. You don't cross over that pitch. Anyway, he crossed over, got the ball, scored. Pep hooked him. I said, well, I've just scored. And he said, I told you not to go over this side of the pitch. And I suspect Jack is very much hemmed into a certain role. Whereas Villa, he had a free reign. You go out there, you cause absolute mayhem. You be as unpredictable as you can. Whereas Man City, he's not going to get that.
He's also not going to get the ball at the halfway line when he's actually playing like front third on the left. That's the thing at Villa. He was getting the ball deep, almost like at a CDM role, creating, taking it forward. You don't have that reign at Man City. That's Mahrez's role, or that's De Bruyne's role.
Yeah.
I mean, like those 50-yard runs that he used to do and that kind of thing were great and all. Like they get you off your seat, but I think as a team, it's probably better that we don't just have one guy we rely on now. We have we have options. Yeah.
Well, and he was injury prone, Scott. You know, we missed a third of the season without him. Sorry, and it's like that's where we actually started to tumble down the ladder. And yeah, it was pretty sad that it showed how over-reliant we were on Jack.
And I don't think it's a case of that we're no longer reliant upon one player. We're no longer reliant upon one system. We're no longer reliant upon one team. We touched on it briefly last week that we now, for the first time that I can remember in a long time, we now have a squad. We now have players on the bench that can actually come on the pitch and change things. And look what happened this weekend.
Exactly. And there's other options as well that didn't even get on. Like Buendia didn't even get on. You know, Traore only got on for a small while, and there's others. There's
Sanson wasn't even in the squad, Scottie.
Yeah, exactly.
Sanson, you know, Buendia, Sanson, El Ghazi, Traore. We've got nearly £100 million on the bench. Like, when's the last time we could say we had that at Villa?
No, it's the deepest squad we've had probably since Martin O'Neill. And
agreed.
And that's over 10 years ago. So, and we all know how he got that squad. He just put the club into financial ruin. You know, but
don't start me, Cooper.
Go on.
Habib Bye.
Yeah,
you know, £40,000 on a third choice right back, even by today's standards, is ludicrous money, and that's how much O'Neill was. No, I'm not going to. You're not going to wind me up.
I've always said, how do you know that someone's not an Aston Villa fan by when they say they're an Aston Villa fan? It's when they say, "Oh, Martin O'Neill was my favourite manager of all time." I'm just like, "Oh dear, oh dear." I mean, it was great times on the pitch, but if you look at the big picture, he royally screwed us. Yeah.
And I mean, well, Lerner's wife also took half the fortune as well, which probably didn't help.
Yeah. Lerner has his definitely a lot of fault in it too, because he just couldn't say no to the guy, you know, until he ran out of money, basically. So
yeah, I tell you what, that Leon Bailey goal versus Everton, it gave me flashbacks to Grealish's versus Liverpool last season. You know, the long ball at the halfway, one player running in one-on-one. I was thinking, geez, like just genuine flashbacks when that went through. Except for it wasn't as like just Grealish didn't twat it like Bailey did.
No, Grealish went for the filth. But You know, they all count.
I remember the celebration. You done this?
Yeah.
And it was like, what's this? They're like, anal straight up bummed Liverpool. It was the funniest comment I ever saw.
I think wasn't there Avengers group chat or something? Him, Ross Barkley, Chilwell, and Madison or something.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was their group chat when they go on their little tours.
Yeah.
And
The PG rating for this podcast has gone down the toilet, hasn't it?
yeah, it's normally Troy that stuffs that.
I blame Troy with the profanity. He's just now all of a sudden this isn't appealing to children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is appealing to children.
Maybe learning
Not to their parents, but the kids are tuning in.
Anyway, moving on.
Can I just go back to Bailey? I think what'll be interesting to me is obviously his confidence is sky high. He holds everybody in absolute contempt, and I do wonder: are we still going to be seeing these kind of performances from him in 3 months or 6 months or 2 years? What's going to be interesting to see if he can continue this and just have his professional attitude all the time, or is it going to be a case where he's like, right, I've proved myself for 3 months, I want to move on? It's going to be interesting.
I think it's more of a case, will clubs learn how to defend him? Like, no one's actually seen a fit and fine Leon Bailey in the Prem.
Good point.
So
Troy, I mean, in
he'll be able
terms
to
of,
adjust.
you see, I think is it more, how long until clubs start to take notice of him, and what's the price tag essentially? Is it another 100 million player that we're going to get? And is that the kind of the message we want to send? We're a breeding club again, or are we actually nurturing and keeping our own talent?
Well, I think Tommy touched on it earlier with Leverkusen. He did have a bit of a reputation for being a bit hot and cold. Like, he had quite a good season last season, but he's been in the Bundesliga for like 3 or 4 years and never really completely took it by storm. But maybe that he's more suited to the Premiership, quicker pace.
Agreed.
And let's hope he can continue that. A goal and assist every 21 minutes. I'll take that.
Cash is arguably one of the best right backs in the Prem, and I saw Cash's post-match interview. And funny enough, I didn't know Cash actually had a really bad lisp. Post-match interview, Cash was actually saying, "I actually hate defending him in training. He rips me one-on-one every time." So I mean, that's a good sign. I think we've definitely got a player on our hands, and Cash's defense is probably one of his best assets.
Definitely, he's just one of those live wires. He's like a St. Maximin, but he seems to be a bit more direct and a bit more end product, but it's like
St. Maximin, right? Yeah, he's keeping Newcastle alive right now, that guy by himself. I wish we went for him. I did hear that there was a potential bid, but we just didn't go ahead with it.
He's an exciting player, that's for sure. And we've got one of our own now, so that's good. That's great. But yeah, so we got Chelsea coming up on Wednesday night. Man United coming up on Saturday. 2 really tough games, but I think we can just take the handbrake off and go for it. No pressure. And I would love to see, guys like Bailey start if they're fit and they can be fit into the system. But hopefully the injuries aren't too bad, because McGinn, we don't really know what's going on there. Target as well had a pulled adductor. Who else? There's someone else.
Leon Bailey.
He pulled his. Yes. He pulled his what?
That's his.
Look, I honestly think we're going to see a back four versus United. I just don't think Horst will come in. And honestly, I hope we're the first team to keep Ronaldo scoreless, because that'd be something. He loves a goal against Villa, if I can remember correctly, and I would love to keep him scoreless. I'd
get a win. I think it'd be our first time in ages, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've beaten United since 2009.
Gabby.
Horst scored the winner, yeah.
Was it?
No,
I think it might have been around then, yeah.
It was I think it was 1-0, and it was young to Gabby, I think.
So,
well, the fat Spanish waiter has never lost at Villa Park, and he's just got stuffed. So maybe it's the month to break records.
Hopefully,
that's it. And they looked a bit sort of vulnerable against West Ham last night. I watched that game, so I think we've got a good chance. Yeah, and I think if we go in with that same kind of attitude, then like we did against Chelsea and like we did against Everton, why not? But we should wrap up.
I think
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, yeah, we'll wrap up because we're running out of time. I got the 5-minute notice. So, well, I want to finish with a question, and we're going to say, we'll in the comments write down what was your favourite come from behind victory for Villa. So we've had a few good ones over the years. So have a think about it, write it down, and if you're liking the channel, if you're liking the videos, please like and subscribe. You know, follow us on social media, and check out all our up and coming videos. We will be doing one for the up and coming games, so please take notice, ring that bell, and you'll be notified for the new videos. But guys, it's been amazing again. Avengers out. All right. See you later. Up the Villa, and
Up the Villa.
have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you for the Chelsea game. See you later.